Ladies and gentlemen, the NBA playoffs start tomorrow, and it's time for some predictions, okay? Time to get a little controversial here and make some predictions about who's going to win these series and how many games it's going to take. All right? Best part of the playoffs, making predictions. No, that's not the best part of the playoffs, but it is fun. It is fun. And we're going to get right into it, okay? Starting with the Eastern Conference first round, the Detroit Pistons, the 1-seed Pistons, will be playing either the Orlando Magic or the Charlotte Hornets. I am recording this before and probably uploading this before the play-in games tonight, so I have no idea who they're going to play. So I'll just give a prediction in either case scenario, all right? Because I don't want to predict who's going to win the play-in, because then I'll be wrong off the bat, probably. Okay? So if it's Pistons versus the Orlando Magic, give me Pistons in 4, all right? Give me Pistons in 4. It would be a sweep if they didn't have Cade, if they didn't have Jalen Duren, if they didn't have Dennis Jenkins. It would be a sweep no matter what, all right? If it's Pistons versus Hornets, that's a little bit different. That's a little bit of a different scenario. All right, that's a different equation. And I think the Hornets could push the Pistons to 6 games, maybe even 7. You know, that's a tough matchup right there. But I think I could even see the Hornets winning. But I think the Pistons will win. I think the Pistons would win that matchup. And then you move on to the Cavaliers versus the Toronto Raptors. Good for the Raptors making it into the playoffs. I don't think there were any like high expectations for this team when the season began or prior to the season. And you know, they were mostly good throughout this entire season. You know, they were the 2 seed quite early on for a little bit, and then they kind of fell off, but they've managed to be the 5 seed, and they're playing the Cavaliers, who were pretty shaky throughout most of the season until they traded for James Harden. And I think James Harden is going to help this team a lot in the playoffs. I know everyone thinks James Harden's a playoff dropper, but the brother doesn't even have to be the second option on this team. So I'm going to go Cavaliers in 6. I think it'll be a tough series. All right, Scotty Barnes. Is Scotty Barnes the best defensive player in the Eastern Conference? Maybe. And that's who the Cavaliers are going to have to go up against, him and BI3. But I think the Raptors' lack of playoff experience and, you know, just the fact that I don't really think they have a true point guard in their roster, at least a starting point guard. I mean, IQ is a starter, but he's not a point guard in a James Harden type of way. So I think the Cavaliers will win this, but it'll be a tough series. It'll be a good 6 games. And then we move on to the Knicks versus Atlanta Hawks. And this is going to be nothing like that when they played in 2025. No Trae Young on the roster. I don't even know if there's anyone on the Knicks roster that was playing on that team. Maybe Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, I think, is about the only guy. I think the Knicks could sweep this. The Knicks could sweep this, but I'm gonna say it'll go to 5, just because Jalen Johnson is really good. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been great, but the Knicks, regardless of how people have like thought about some of them during the some of the players on this team during the season, you know, like midway through the season, everyone was like, "Wow, Cat's playing terrible," and now he's been playing better. And recently, it's been Mikal Bridges. You know, he's averaging like 4 points over the last few weeks or whatever. I don't know. But the Knicks have more playoff experience than most of the guys on this Hawks team. And you know, the Knicks have been a pretty good playoff team over the last few years. Then it'll be the Philadelphia 76ers versus the 2 seed Boston Celtics. The Celtics, who basically proved everyone wrong this year. Everyone thought they were going to either be a lottery team or you know, at best a play-in team. And they are the 2 seed. Give Joe Mazzulla Coach of the Year. All right, somehow this team is the 2 seed. If Joel Embiid was playing in this series, I think I'd think about it a little bit differently. But he's not. He's not. It's Tyrese Maxey, and his second option is VJ Edgecombe, who is good, but they're not. They got nothing on the Celtics team. Okay, the Philadelphia 76ers this year got nothing on the Celtics. This is going to be a sweep, all right? No doubt about it. They are going to lose all 4 games. So moving on to the West. It'll be the Thunder versus either the Phoenix Suns, my Phoenix Suns, or the Golden State Warriors. So if it's the Warriors, they're going to get swept. Warriors are going to get swept by the Thunder so hard. Like, it's not even going to be close. They are going to get swept so bad. And if it's my Phoenix Suns, they'll also probably get swept. But I like to think that the Suns will get at least one game. I like to think the Suns can maybe pull off one win. But we'll see. We'll see if they even make it to the playoffs. Then you've got the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Houston Rockets. I really wish I could say the Lakers are probably going to win this, but I can't. No Luka. No Austin Reeves. It's LBJ at 41 years of age, and his second best teammate is DeAndre Ayton. Lakers could get swept. The Lakers could get swept. They very well might just get swept for the second straight year. I'm going to go with 5, though. I think the Rockets will beat them in 5. Kevin Durant, Alp Şengün, Amen Thompson. It's going to be too much for them to handle. I think the Lakers can get maybe one win, though. And, yeah. Then, the Nuggets versus the Timberwolves. All right, this will be very exciting. They had that great series a few years ago that went to 7 games. Nuggets, Timberwolves. Timberwolves won that time, but it ain't going to be the same result this time. The Nuggets will win in 6. I don't even know if Anthony Edwards is going to be healthy for this series. And regardless of if he is, Nuggets are winning. All right, this Timberwolves team, I actually don't know. I don't know how they... I do know how they weren't a play-in team. It's because of Anthony Edwards. But, come on. This team... I seen someone say, they don't win with the power of friendship. They win with like a 9-to-5 kind of mentality. All right, let's get in there and get the job done and get out. They ain't getting the job done today. All right, they're gonna go play they're gonna play the Nuggets, and they're gonna lose in 6. All right, the Nuggets aren't. I think they'll put up a fight. That's why I'm saying they'll lose. They'll lose in 6. But I don't think they're gonna beat the Nuggets. All right, I think they'll be tough, but they won't beat the Nuggets. But what won't be tough is the San Antonio Spurs first round series versus the Portland Trail Blazers. The Blazers are going to get swept. They got nothing on this San Antonio team. All right, they got nothing. This will be what? Remember the Cavaliers versus the Miami Heat last year when the Heat were getting blown out by like 60 every game versus the Cavs? This is going to be that. The Spurs will win by 100 points every game. The Spurs will win by 100 points in every game. It's not even going to be close. It's not even fair, really. But moving on to the second round, we're going back to the Eastern Conference, ladies and gentlemen. We're going back to the East, where we will see, in my opinion, we'll see a Pistons-Cavaliers second-round matchup, and this is where it's going to get super controversial. Ladies and gentlemen, with Cade Cunningham, without Cade Cunningham, I don't care. I am picking the Cleveland Cavaliers. Give me Cavs in 7. Cleveland is going to the conference finals. You know who's going to the conference finals? Donovan Mitchell, for the first time in his career. He's going to the conference finals. That's what I'm predicting. This is the best team Donovan Mitchell has ever had around him in the playoffs. Let's see if they can stay healthy. If they do, they're going to beat the Pistons. I don't care if the Pistons have Cade Cunningham. I don't care if they have Jalen Duren. I don't care if they have 2018 LeBron. I'm picking Cleveland. All right, I think finally Cleveland will break through and make the conference finals. Call me crazy. Say I don't know ball, but we'll see come the second round. And we're going to see the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Watch them lose in the first round now that I said that. All right, and then we'll get a Celtics-Knicks rematch. Another series I think will go to 7, all right? The Celtics have been playing great all season. The Knicks have been up and down, but they've still managed to be the 3 seed. Honestly, the Knicks should have probably been the 1 seed, but Celtics-Knicks, back-to-back years. Celtics got home court advantage both years, but I think in 7 games, the result will be the same as last year, with the Knicks going to the conference finals. All right, I think the Knicks just got a little bit more power to them. All right, I think the Knicks got a little bit more power to them. They might even want it a little bit more. All right, you look at the Celtics roster that doesn't have the same championship pedigree as last year when they lost to the Knicks. Arguably, you could maybe even say a worse Knicks roster, just because they weren't as experienced together. Now they are. I think the Knicks will do it. I think they'll do it in 7. All right. There's no Drew Holiday. There's no Kristaps Porzingis. There's no Al Horford, who's still a hooper at 40 years old, on this roster anymore. All right. They got none of that. It'll be Knicks in 7. I'm telling you that now. Then we swing it back over to the West. It'll be Thunder versus Rockets in the second round. In my opinion, give me the Thunder in 6. The Rockets will put up a fight, but they ain't the Oklahoma City Thunder. No doubt about it. OKC is going to beat them. All right. OKC will beat them. 6 might even be a little bit generous, considering I don't think that that Houston is even close to having the offensive firing power as the Thunder, all right? But still, they're going to be a tough matchup. Then you've got the Nuggets versus the Spurs. And I think I'll go with San Antonio in 6, all right? The Nuggets will be a tough matchup. Nikola Jokic, arguably the best player in the world, probably the best player in the world, along with All-Star Jamal Murray, who is likely to be All-NBA. They got Aaron Gordon. They got Peyton Watson. They got Christian Brown. They got a lot of good players over there in Denver, but they don't got Wemby, and they don't got De'Aaron Fox, and they don't got Stephon Castle, who should have been an All-Star this year, by the way, over De'Aaron Fox. They don't got Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Dylan Harper, Luke Cornett. They don't got these players in Denver. I don't care about the playoff experience when it comes to this matchup because the Spurs are just outright better, and they're going to beat them in 6. That's what it's going to be. And so when you look at what I'm saying the conference finals are going to be, I'm saying the conference finals are going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs. And in the Eastern Conference, it will be the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks. I'm not going with the 1 seed. I'm not going with the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference Finals. Cavs versus Knicks. Ladies and gentlemen, give me New York in 5. I made a whole big deal about this is going to be Donovan Mitchell's first Eastern Conference Finals, first conference finals in general. Give me Knicks in 5. I'm saying Knicks in 5, but I could, if this was the matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals, I could see Cleveland winning. But give me Knicks in 5. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying there's no chance for Cleveland. I'm just saying Knicks in 5. I think we'll finally see them make the finals for the first time in a long time. All right? And I think this will cement Jalen Brunson as the greatest Knick of the 21st century, maybe of all time. I don't know. If he wins a ring, he certainly is. And then we swing it back to the West. It's 2 heavyweights, all right? That's who's going up against each other. It is the Oklahoma City Thunder. It is the San Antonio Spurs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the heavyweight matchup that NBA fans have been wanting to see all season, coming head-to-head in the playoffs. OKC, San Antonio. Give me 7 games of this, and give me a San Antonio victory. I'm so serious. The Spurs wanted a little bit more, no doubt about it. I don't care how deep that OKC roster is. I don't care how deep their bench is. I don't care the fact that the the 18th man off the bench, the 27th man off the bench, the 50th guy off the bench for Oklahoma City. I don't care that they got a roster full of potential All-Stars. All right, I don't care they got a roster full of potential MVP candidates. Give me San Antonio. All right, Wemby is going to destroy the Thunder in this matchup. All right, what are the Thunder are like 4-1 in the regular season this season against the Thunder. And, some people say, oh, regular season don't matter. Well, I say in a case scenario like this, I think we can look at the regular season. I think we can say that's how the playoffs are going to go. All right? Because Wemby, he's wanted it all season. He's wanted it more than maybe anyone else all season. The awards, the wins, the accomplishments, everything. And now it's the playoffs. And I think him and the rest of the Spurs, they're going to want it just a little bit more than everybody else. San Antonio in 7. So that means we're going to party like it's 1999, the NBA Finals, the New York Knicks versus the San Antonio Spurs. Ladies and gentlemen, the rematch, 27 years in the making. Spurs, Knicks. There's no Patrick Ewing anymore. There's no Tim Duncan anymore. The big man matchup is Wemby versus Cat. Spurs in 4. Spurs in 5. Spurs in 5. We're talking about the Knicks here. Spurs in 5. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, the San Antonio Spurs will be your 2026 NBA champions. If you asked me at the start of the year, I'd say, oh, it's not going to happen. I'd have told you the Nuggets are winning. But now I'm telling you they're going to be a second-round exit to the people who will win the title. And those people winning the championship will be the San Antonio Spurs.